Rise in bouts of insecurity in various parts of the country will be dealt with through equal direct and indirect force of government. This is according to CS Kindiki, Cabinet Secretary in charge of internal security and interior coordination, who on Wednesday ordered the immediate transfer of all police officers at the Isebania police station.
Shida ambayo kama nilivyosema, kama tungeishughulikia mapema, ile maneno ambayo yametokea yangetokea. Tuanze kabisa na malalamishi ya wananchi kuhusu maafisa wetu wa polisi wa kituo cha polisi hapa Isebania. Serikali imechukua hatua ya kuhamisha maafisa wote
Kindiki, who was in Isebania on a fact-finding mission following insecurity incidents and a standoff between police officers and civilians, stated that peace in the region can only be restored if new officers are deployed to take over.
Officer wote yule wa ngazi zote ambaye alikuwa anahudumu katika kituo cha polisi cha Isebania lazima aende, kwa sababu shida ambayo tuko nayo hapa Isebania ni shida ambaye inahusu idara nyingine za serikali ya Kenya.
The CS, who was accompanied by a team of Nyanza region security officers, expressed concerns about the rising number of cases of unrest across the country, claiming that members of the public prefer mob justice even when it is not required. Professor Kindiki stated that he will not stand by and watch the country devolve into anarchy, and that he will go out of his way to protect Kenyans' lives. He also urged police officers stationed at the Kenya-Sirare border to crack down on contraband and illegal goods entering the country. At the same event, Migori County Deputy Governor Joseph Mahiri asked the government to consider sending special unit officers to the border town to beef up security.
Asanteni sana. Waziri, mimi nasimama hapa mbele yako kwa kusema hakuna usalama hii Isebania kabisa. Waziri, nasimama hapa kusema Kuria mzima kuna matatizo ya usalama.
Mahiri said criminal elements take advantage of the security gaps in the security system to launch attacks.
Na ukiona Wakuria wameamuka, wameanza kuandamana, iko shida. Na hiyo point nataka kusema waziri moja hapa. Hayo MCS wote wameongea, hayo mambo umeona yule Peter Chacha amesoma hapa. Waziri, mimi nimekaa bunge na wewe tamu mbili. Umekuwa waziri na kufahamu vizuri.
I have just returned from Isebania.
Later in the afternoon, the CS addressed the nation from Nairobi over the state of security for the last 6 months since he took over Interior and National Administration Office.
I have said this government will side with the public.
The CS took the chance to give a 6-month review of his tenure, thanking the president for the responsibility. The CS addressed matters regarding the firearm ownership, terrorism, securitization of unsafe areas, and the issue of toxic alcoholic drinks.
Many countries in Africa have disintegrated into violence. And you know it starts like that. You are aggrieved somewhere, you attack a police station, you take the arms, you free people who are in custody, you have a problem with an officer, you go and hurt them or kill them. We cannot go that route.
Professor Kindiki said that any person in Kenya holding an illegal firearm must surrender that firearm to the government voluntarily, or the government shall recover it by use of force.
But I want to make it clear that any person in Kenya holding an illegal firearm must surrender that firearm to government voluntarily, or we shall recover it by use of force. No excuse will be given whatsoever, including that those firearms are used for grazing livestock. You don't need a firearm to graze livestock, you need a stick, a huntsman's stick to graze livestock. Therefore, all people who have firearms which are not lawful must surrender them voluntarily, or we will get them by force.
The CS further insisted that the interior sector made sustained gains in the war against bandits and the terror that they have posed on Kenyan people. On terrorism attacks, Professor Kindiki said that the fight against terror remains the #1 threat to the country's stability.
I am happy to report with a lot of confidence that our agencies responsible for our internal, in collaboration with and with the support of the Kenya Defence Forces at the borders and beyond our borders, have been able to keep the threat of terror away from our territory, as has been the case before. It has costed us huge sacrifices in terms of our officers and our vigilance, but I am happy to report that we remain on top of that war. We remain extremely vigilant, even as other national security threats emerge. We remain focused to ensure that our country does not provide a room for evil people, terrorists, to hurt us the way they have hurt us in the past in this country.
He added that agencies responsible for the internal security have been able to keep the threat of terror away from Kenyan territory
and deter terrorist forces, especially those that are involved in counter-terrorism measures, for remaining focused, professional, patriotic, and delivering the results that we are all seeing. I have been at the most of
the National Interior Security Boss reminded Kenyans that the future economic stability of the country lies on the security agencies securitizing the unsafe areas that may scare away foreign investors. Professor Kithure Kindiki finally addressed the thorny issue of alcoholism and drug abuse within Kenyan borders. Kindiki said that the Interior and Administration Ministry has conducted various programs to combat the issue of toxic alcoholic drinks. For Maisha Prime, Maisha Television, I'm Bushabe Jr.